I cheated on my wife. And the worst part? I still loved her. I know how that sounds. If you love someone, you don't betray them. That's what I believed too, until I became the man I used to hate. For a long time, I couldn't understand how I'd become capable of something I once promised myself I'd never do. My wife and I had been married for 11 years. She wasn't just my wife. She was my best friend. We met when we were 27. She was sitting in a coffee shop, fighting with her laptop. I asked if she needed help. She looked at me and said, "If you break it, you're buying me a new one." I laughed. She laughed. And somehow, that ridiculous moment became the beginning of our life together. We fell in love quickly. Not the movie kind. The real kind. The kind where you slowly become part of each other's daily life. We talked about kids, a house, growing old together. And eventually, we got everything we talked about. A house, 2 kids, a dog, a life. From the outside, we looked happy, and for a long time, we were. But something changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically. It happened so slowly I didn't even notice. Our conversations became shorter. "How was your day?" "Fine." "Did you pick up the kids?" "Yeah." That was our marriage. Not terrible, not broken, just busy. 2 exhausted people trying to keep a family running. At night, we'd lie next to each other. She would scroll through her phone. I'd scroll through mine. Sometimes I'd look at her and think, when did we stop talking? And then I'd feel guilty, because she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was a good wife, a good mother. She loved me. So I convinced myself I was just going through a phase. Then I met a woman from another department at work. At first, there was nothing romantic about it. We talked because we had to work together. Then we joked. Then we talked about things outside of work, movies, music, our childhoods, things I hadn't talked about with anyone in a long time. One afternoon she said, "You know, you're actually pretty funny." I laughed. My wife doesn't think so. She smiled. I bet she does. A harmless conversation. But I went home that night thinking about it, because I realized something. I liked being noticed. My wife knew everything about me. My bad habits, my worst moods, my mistakes. This woman only knew the parts of me I chose to show her, and that felt exciting. Then came the small compliments. "You look good today." "You always know how to make people laugh." Small things, but they made me feel different. You know that feeling when someone looks at you like you're interesting? I hadn't felt it in years, and I started craving it. That's when I should have stopped. I didn't. Instead, I told myself a lie. It's just friendship. So we kept talking. Then texting, during the day, then at night, then whenever we could. And eventually, I started hiding it. Turning my phone face down, deleting messages. Every time I told myself, it's nothing. But deep down I knew, if it was really nothing, I wouldn't be hiding it. One night my wife walked into the kitchen while I was texting her. I locked my phone. My wife noticed. She just looked at me, then asked, "Who was that?" "Someone from work," I said. She nodded. "Okay," and walked away. I could have told her the truth. Instead, I chose the lie. That was the moment. I understand now. The affair didn't begin when I kissed her. It began when I decided I deserved a secret. Weeks passed, and the emotional connection grew. Around her, I wasn't a tired husband or a father worrying about bills. I was just myself, but a version I missed, and I became addicted to that version of myself. Sometimes people don't cheat because they found someone better. Sometimes they cheat because someone makes them feel like a version of themselves they miss. The affair becomes an escape, not necessarily from the marriage, but from themselves. I wasn't trying to replace my wife. I was trying to escape the person I had become. Then one Friday night, everything changed. I told my wife I had to stay late at work. I didn't. I was in my car with the other woman, talking, laughing. For a few minutes, everything felt easy. Then my phone rang. It was my wife. "Where are you?" I looked at the woman beside me and said the words that still make me ashamed. "I'm at work." Silence. Then my wife said, "Okay." Just one word. But something about the way she said it made my stomach drop. She knew. That night, I sat in my car for almost an hour. The other woman kept texting. My wife was waiting at home. And suddenly, the fantasy disappeared. I saw everything clearly. The kids, the house, the 11 years, the woman who trusted me. Nobody was forcing me to do this. I wasn't confused. I wasn't trapped. I was choosing it, over and over again. I drove home. My wife was sitting at the kitchen table, lights off, just waiting. She looked at me and asked, "Is there someone else?" I froze. For months I'd prepared excuses. Suddenly none of them mattered. "Yes." She didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She just asked, "Do you love her?" "No." "Do you love me?" "Yes." Then she asked the question I still don't know how to answer. "Then why did you do it?" I said, "I don't know." But later, I realized I did know. I had confused attention with love, novelty with happiness, escape with freedom. She wasn't giving me a better life. She was giving me a temporary escape from the life I already had. And instead of asking myself why I needed that escape, I fed it. I crossed one boundary, then another, until I had destroyed the trust of the person who loved me most. My wife left, and I don't blame her. People ask me, "Do you still love her?" Yes, I do. That's the hardest part. I never stopped. But I've learned something painful. Loving someone doesn't automatically make you capable of treating them well. You can love someone and still be selfish, still crave validation, still make terrible decisions, because love is a feeling, but loyalty is a choice. Honesty is a choice. Boundaries are a choice. And every day, you choose what you do with the feelings you have. Looking back, my affair didn't start because I stopped loving my wife. It started when I stopped being honest with myself, when I felt lonely but didn't say it, when I felt invisible but didn't communicate it, when I wanted excitement but refused to confront why my life felt dull. I looked outside my marriage for something I should have first tried to understand inside myself. By the time I understood that, it was too late. So if you're wondering whether someone can cheat and still love their partner, yes, they can. But that doesn't make the betrayal less real. And it doesn't mean you weren't enough. Sometimes cheating tells you more about the person who cheated than the person who was betrayed. I learned that too late. I didn't lose my wife because I didn't love her. I lost her because, for a moment, I loved the feeling of being someone else more than I respected the life we had built. And that's a mistake I'll have to live with for the rest of my life.